And welcome to another episode of Cubs on Tap. I guess I am Ron Luce tonight. Joey Ricotta at Joey Knows Nothing, joined by two of my good buddies over here, Cubs on Tap, also hosts or panelists, Rich and Nick at Rich _ EBS and at Nick _ on tap. Boys, another series dub in Miami. Cubs got it done, and we are here to talk all about it and then to preview the Red Series in Cincinnati. So I'm excited. I'm happy to be back on a mic. It's been a little bit. Nick, this kind of reminds me of like some Friday episodes, I think.
Yeah,
so,
we got to get back to those if we can, man. We got to try.
If it wasn't like we were doing a birthday dinner tomorrow night, I would say like let's run this back tomorrow.
Yeah,
but
we got
maybe
plenty
late.
more Fridays. We got plenty more Fridays.
We got more Fridays. We'll do it for sure. But you know, the weekend does start on Thursdays, and it is Thirsty Thursday. So, boys, how we doing? I'll start with you, Rich. How's it going tonight?
Couldn't be better. You know, the Cubs are 10 games above 500 right now. I think that's a series or season high. So, yeah, coming off another series win, swept the White Sox. Could have swept the Marlins, but still got 2 out of 3. Got out of there with a series dub. The Cubs are looking good. They look like they're back to their high scoring offense. It's good to see.
Yeah, that they've definitely looked good, especially in that second game, and even in the first game with as far as the offense goes, with being able to fight back and keep them in the game. And really, we all know how that one ended. That game should have been a win, but nonetheless, being able to win the next 2 games and finish out the series strong is always a good thing. So, Nick, I know you and Ron were on the microphones talking after Tuesday night's game. So,
yeah.
You know, and I got to listen a little bit while I was driving to and from work and got to hear some of your thoughts there. But overall, man, especially after this Wednesday game that we just had yesterday, what are your thoughts here about the Cubs series, Cubs and Marlins?
Dude, much like Rich, I'm elated. I'm very excited for this team. We got to talk about that bounce back win, which was much needed after the really awful Hodge news that you get after that depressing walk-off loss, the Marlins on Monday. But yeah, overall, just really excited to see where this team is going to go. And like Rich said, I mean, he hit the nail on the head. The offense, it's just so fun to watch this offense. And we just said the other day, me and Ron, like, you just feel like this team is never out of it. And that's one of my favorite things this year about the Cubs.
There's no doubt, man. Even early in the season, I will say, even though I know that this team's different, and they have Kyle Tucker and more offensive weapons, and I think even really before we knew PCA was legitimately going to be the PCA that we've seen to this point, where you didn't know, like, okay, what exactly, like really before, maybe even before that Dodgers series or just after that, right? Like I still had trepidations or like thoughts mid-game of if they fell behind, like, will they be able to come back? Like, it feels, because we're used to that. We're used to them falling down and not being able to get the offense and come back. But they've really been able to just about every time. Like, this team doesn't quit, man.
Yep.
They don't quit. That's what I love. I love to see that no matter what. And to me, that is the most entertaining type of baseball as a fan that you're ever going to get. So yeah, I love to see. I guess my big thought, or not even big thought, but my like 2 takeaways, I would say, from this series was, God, there's so much. Now that I just said that and couldn't even get off my 2 big takeaways. But Matt Shaw, maybe we can start there, and not even really. So the Cubs, we'll talk about the Wednesday game real briefly. 2-1, the Cubs end up winning. Kyle Tucker home run in the first inning. And then they end up getting it done. Tucker had another big hit later on. Then there was a misplay out there in the outfield, led to another run later. And Palencia, I mean, he ended up really ended up bouncing back. You know, he was really good. And Scott says Popcorn Joey. Am I having some mic issues? Is that the popcorn?
I haven't been able to tell.
Yeah, I'm not getting any
Now I
Any
want
feedback here?
popcorn.
Now
Yeah, now we're hungry. That,
Yeah.
that Wednesday game, though, no, it was like all pitching, right? It was a low scoring
Exactly.
game, 2-1. But yeah, Palencia had a nice bounce back from that blown save, which honestly wasn't really his fault on Monday, if you ask me. Like, Kyle Tucker could have caught that ball, I think.
Yeah.
It was like he had 2 outs and 2 strikes on the third hitter in the inning.
Exactly.
Palencia just kind of blew up after that. Like he did admittedly run out of gas and walk a guy, but it was still nice to see him bounce back from that and get his first legitimate save in that game on Wednesday. And then Cade Horton also was kind of nails. He allowed a lot of traffic, but he also pitched out of it like in most of the time and only gave up 1 earned run, which is what you want to see, right? Like he gave up 6 hits and 3 walks, but continued to just attack the strike zone and get out of that traffic jams that he was giving up. That's what you like to see. He got himself into the 6th inning for the first time in MLB, at least. And that's just kind of what he needs to keep doing and keep stringing together good outings like he has the last 3 times he's taken the ball, and just continue to go deeper in ball games. And that's what you want to see from him right now. And then the rest of the bullpen just got it done yesterday. Tealbar and Brad Keller, who's both have been amazing as well. You got kind of like a good bullpen core starting to emerge right now, even though Porter Hodge is on the IL and Ryan Presley is 50,000 years old and getting his knee drained every 2 weeks. But it's nice to see this kind of core forming, and it's nice. I don't know.
I agree. Yeah.
Got some good stuff going.
Yeah, it's cool to see, 2 different wins. Like they can do it 14-1. And then, like you said, Rich, a very close game, all pitching yesterday. So that was really cool to see. I had said on Tuesday that if Horton can just go 5, like that would be awesome. And the fact that he got into the 6, 5 1/3, only 1 earned run, I believe, like that's exactly what you want out of him. So that was really cool to see. But overall, like just to see them be able to do it in 2 different styles where they'll just beat the hell out of you offensively, or a close game like that, they'll take advantage of a mistake in the outfield and they'll just edge one out. That's really good to see because, there's going to be nights where you're not going to be able to put up such large numbers on the board like that. And to have your pitching and even the starting pitching, like we've been really blessed with the starting pitching too. Me and Ron touched on it with J-Mo, Boyd, and Ray. Like it's just unexpected to think that Matthew Boyd and Colin Ray would be doing as good as they're doing, and it's just wild. So overall, like I was happy with the series. Of course, you want to sweep a team like the Marlins, but to be able to hang with them and get the series win, I think that's the most important. And just stacking these series wins and continue to win series, I think is going to be the most important thing for the Cubs, especially as they somehow, I don't understand, but the Cardinals are right there. So they're gonna.
I don't buy this Cardinals team right now.
Yeah, it's not real.
Either.
It's such a fugazi run they're on right now.
Yeah.
You know what though? I never have. There's been a lot of years where I don't buy them. Same with the Brewers. So maybe we should just be buying it. I don't know.
Cubs are, because they're doing well. They're acting like they're right behind them. So
true.
You got to buy it if you're the Cubs here. You got to just continue to win. And like I said, win series and be aggressive. I think that's the number one thing is just continue to be aggressive. Don't take your foot off the gas on Sunday, which we got to see with the White Sox series. Just continue. Even on these getaway days, like pulling this out with the 2-1 victory on a getaway day, that's a big win in my eyes. So
absolutely. I think especially after the way that you blew game 1 to come back and thump them in game 2 and then get a really just well-played baseball game for the most part on both sides, pitching wise, to squeak that one out. And I had a tweet the other day that I sent. The Cubs are playing really good baseball in 1-run games this year, and they're not playing as many of these 1-run games either. They're like last year at this time, they were 10-10 in 1-run games to this point in the season. This year, they're 7-4 in 1-run games. So to me, that tells me 2 things really. They're getting better in those situations, like they're maturing all around, and then also having someone like Kyle Tucker and PCA developing into where he is. Those two things never hurt. But then also the fact that they've played, only 11 of those games compared to 20 at this point a year ago. They're blowing because their record is really good also in the blowout games, like the 5+ run victories. Their record is also good there. So playing a lot fewer of them because they're not putting themselves in those positions. But then also like that kind of goes back to, I want to say Craig Counsell was really good in those close games with the Brewers too. And, if my memory is serving me right, that was one thing that he was always really good in, and getting his teams to play up to that caliber and be able to clutch it out. And we have those guys this year. That's what's fun. We got the guys that are clutch, that can do it in the big moments late in games. And it's really just up and down the lineup. It's like, who's going to do it this time? That to me is what's really cool about it. It's not really just one guy, even though you do have Kyle Tucker, you do have PCA, you do have Seiya Suzuki, but it's, it could be a Miguel Amaya. It could be Matt Shaw, who had the big double in that game, the other game. I mean, like the big hit. They're stringing it together from all throughout the lineup. And I think the distribution too, one thing that I was looking at, they're 15-10 at home, and they're 15-10 on the road. So it's not like they're just crushing it at home and they're kind of middling on the road, or they're doing poorly on the road. No, they're doing pretty good on the road too this year, and kind of evidenced by that Dodgers series too. I think that kind of was what really woke me up, right? That was like,
Yeah.
All right, after the Dodgers series, and we've played a lot of baseball since then, so to be 15-10, it's obviously not just that series, but I like to see that. I think this is just a really well-balanced team, and Nick, you were talking about it, the surprise performances from guys like Colin Ray and Matthew Boyd, who they've had to rely on here now from, with the injuries to Shota and Steele. I mean, those two injuries could have been catastrophic. And the way that they've managed through this, I got to give Counsell a lot of credit. I got to give the veterans on this team a lot of credit, and the guys who have stepped up into their roles and pitched well, like Cade Horton, second, really, this is, in my eyes, this is really, and was, right, his second start in this series, second career major league start. And I know the other one was pretty much like a start too, but for the sake of this conversation, to see him fight through that and those guys on base and those troublesome situations, which, yeah, he got a little help from Nico Horner. Gold Glovers do that. Appreciate that right there. But
good
dude,
teams play good defense, man.
That's right. And we thought they were going to play good defense sooner this year. Great defense. And now it's like it's kind of blossoming. It's showing even more so here lately. But I think that's good experience. It's not just like you're coming up here and you're getting the experience of pitching in the major leagues. Like being able to fight through that, it's only going to build confidence for a guy like Cade Horton. And I think I got to give him a lot of credit as a young pitcher to be able to do that. How many young pitchers do we see cave in those moments?
Oh yeah.
Even guys with more experience like Ben Brown can cave in those moments.
Yeah.
Yep.
Horton on and off the field carries himself like a veteran. I feel like he gives off the vibes that he's been in the league for a long time, and he's only 23 years old. I was very shocked by that after his first outing, because I was one of those guys before he got called up. I was like, maybe we should just like stretch him out a little bit longer in Iowa, see if he can go deeper into ball games, because he lost so much development time last year. I didn't think he'd be ready, honestly, to just come up here and let his stuff play, but that's exactly what he's done. And he attacks the zone, and he's got a nice 4-pitch like arsenal that he's not afraid to use any of them. In that first start, I remember after the game, Miguel Amaya was talking about how he like shook off Amaya on 3 pitches and was like, no, I want to throw my changeup. I think it was the changeup, and he hadn't thrown it all game, and he strikes out Juan Soto on the changeup. Like that's just a cool story, and just a nice example of him being confident in himself and his stuff. Great to see that from a rookie starting pitcher.
No doubt.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And it's great to see, like you said, Joey, for him to be in this position due to injuries, to just be that support for that rotation. Just, he just needs to be serviceable at this time, but he's actually looking better than that. He's looking like he's going to be able to hold his own. And even like we were talking about with a guy like Ben Brown, if Cade Horton was really struggling, when Shota comes back, that's just an easy decision. You're just going to send Horton back down. But he's actually made the case of, I need to stay up here because I am a big contributor to this rotation. It's been great to see. And to your point, Rich, he does act like a veteran. He even like, for the fact that he was able to shake off Amaya and be so confident in that pitch and throw it, even though he's come up as, a rookie, he doesn't have any nerves. He's just going out there and he's pitching, and he's doing what got him to this point. And that's what good pitchers do.
Facing a future Hall of Famer too.
Yeah.
Not an easy task to your first
Yeah.
MLB game you have to face. Like, they use the opener wisely. I think they used Brad Keller in that game, which was a good call in my opinion, but he still had to face Lindor, Alonso, and Soto later in the game.
Yeah.
And he did well. He did really well considering. On the road against the Mets in front of 40,000 annoying Mets fans, that's impressive.
We talked about it before it got to that, but I was wondering if they were even going to let him be the guy to come up and face that team, let alone, I know they didn't have him start it, and that was a good call, Rich, like you said, not having him actually start versus that lineup in the first inning. The order, that could have been a nightmare in the first inning, your first big league.
Throwing him into the lion's den right off the bat. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that was an excellent play using the opener.
Yeah.
That was very savvy by Craig Counsell.
Yeah, but no, like you said, I mean, just being able to do it, even though no matter when he had to face him in the lineup, was speaks to the level of where he's at developmentally and just the mindset and everything. I do think I want to see a little bit more.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that, I think this is actually a really good thing here that the Cubs have right now with it's never a good thing that you don't have a guy like Shota, but I think this will actually buy the Cubs a little bit of time to be more patient with Shota, because when you need him you need him down the stretch. Like the Cubs, I look at this offense and I could be totally wrong about this, but I don't see this as a team that's going to, please knock on wood, everybody, for me. But I don't see this as a team that's going to, because the offense, lose that many games in a row, because I think they have that striking power of, if they get into a little bit of funk, they can pick themselves up and have a stop game or a stop or two here and there to kind of at least withstand the struggles. So I think this team is going to be in it really for a while. I mean, we all want them and think that they are going to win and, believe that they're division, front runners in division like they are right now. But I'm just saying, I think this buys them a little bit of time for the times that you really need your ace-like pitcher in Shota. And it also buys the Cubs time to be able to figure out, give him some more cracks at it and let things iron themselves out, which right now, if I had to pick, yeah, it would be Cade Horton sticking in the rotation over Ben Brown, but I just want to see a little more from Horton before I can feel totally confident in even him being the guy that stays in the rotation. So I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on, I guess, any of that, or just like what the rotation, the makeup of it as a whole right now?
Yeah, I tend to agree. And I think he's going to get lucky with the matchups that are coming up for him. He's going to be facing the Rockies at home, and then the Nationals on the road. So a couple of bad teams. That's perfect for him to just like get stretched out, try to go, make it into the finish the sixth inning in those games. But yeah, I definitely would like to see him string together a couple more good starts. And then when Shota comes back, whenever that is, probably mid to late June, it's looking like. Then you make that decision at that time. If Ben Brown is still struggling and still inconsistent in the rotation, you make a decision. You either put him in the bullpen or send him to AAA to figure out how to throw that changeup because he desperately needs to learn how to throw a third pitch. I think that's a big part of his problem, right? He's just leaving those fastballs and knuckle curves. They're too good of strikes sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. Nick, your thoughts?
Yeah, man, I agree 100% to see more out of Horton for sure. And obviously, we always want more. I would like to see him just overall be more efficient just with his pitches and like Rich said, get deeper into the game. I think that's going to help for sure. And with these, teams like the Rockies and such coming up, it is going to be a little bit of a softer landing for him to let him try to do that and maybe get deeper into the game. But overall, I've been happy with what I've seen. And I mean, Rich's point, Ben Brown only having the 2 pitches right now that are working out. The 4-pitch mix from Horton looks a lot better to me in a rotation, especially when you're going through the lineup, 2 or 3 times. It plays a lot better. So I'm just hoping that he can string together a couple more really good starts and just take the job, because I'd be more comfortable overall with him in there right now, but we got to see more from him for sure. And I agree with you both on that.
It's honestly damn lucky that Shota got hurt when he did.
True.
I mean,
Perfect time of the year for it to happen if it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right into the softest part of the schedule. Still early too, where you can bring up Horton and not like have to have him pitch in like a pennant race or something, or a division race down the road. So, like, I don't know. That worked out well, and hopefully he is okay and comes back on his is on schedule to return in June, and it's not something more serious because it's an oblique, right, for Shota.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, and
about
with
these
those like
oblique injuries,
Those are
you got to be
really finicky.
Yeah, those are really tricky. And with Horton doing so well, like maybe you do give Shota a little extra time. To your point, Joey doesn't have to come back because he's not needed right now. So it is just a big benefit that he's come up and done well so far, and just hoping to see more of the same.
Yeah, the one thing I really worry about in this whole thing is, I mean, wins and losses, of course, but like I feel like, just even if you're just a solid rotation, you're gonna buy yourself a pretty good amount of wins here. The one thing I really worry about is burnout. And a guy like Cade Horton, who does not have a lot of innings under his belt anywhere, I worry about, okay, he's in the rotation. Let's just say theoretically he's in the rotation from now until the end of the year, and he's pitching even well enough to want to be used maybe as the 4th starter, or maybe even out of the bullpen in the playoffs if they get to that point. I do worry about too many innings for a guy that is not really accustomed to that yet. Do you guys think that, let's say he looks the way that he did this last time out and really just looks pretty good, do you guys think that there might be some kind of like phantom IL stint to buy him some rest at some point in the season? Like, because I could even see that at some point too.
It's not a bad idea. I could see that happening for sure, because I think he only threw like, I don't even know if he eclipsed 40 innings last year. What's scary to me, and something that is constantly on the back of my mind, is I also worry about the burnout issue with Matthew Boyd and Ben Brown as well.
Yeah.
Matthew Boyd is, after, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 more starts, he will have eclipsed his total innings or like his highest inning mark in like 6 years. He hasn't pitched more than 80 innings since 2019, which has always been the main concern with him signing with the Cubs for me. He's looked damn good. He's been amazing, but is always constantly nagging me in the back of my head. It's like, man, is he going to be able to make it into September, let alone October if they make the playoffs? And Ben Brown lost half the season last year. I don't think he's ever pitched. I want to say his highest mark as a pro is like 100 innings, somewhere around there. So he's another guy who could burn out as well. So hopefully we won't need him in the rotation. But yeah, it's not nice. I think all of this kind of goes to the point of like they need to add a pitcher at the trade deadline.
Yes,
Yeah, they
I mean,
do.
it
they
does.
need
Though
they
it
need to
leads
add
right into that.
multiple pitchers at the trade deadline, a
Yes.
starter and ideally a closer as well.
Well, and I want to get to a
What?
comment here too before Nick. I want to hear your thoughts too. But
Yeah.
Dolet Breezing says Horton likely goes to the bullpen after Cubs make a deadline move, and I could, you could see that. I could see Ben Brown. I could see, one of those two guys, possibly depending on, like you said, Rich, if they do one or two rotation moves, or maybe that's their answer for the bullpen is they want a guy like Horton out there. I would prefer if it was one starter, one or two bullpen arms.
Yeah.
Just because then you have somebody that with a little bit of experience out there, but
They need a workhorse, man. They need another horse
Yeah.
in the starting rotation. That is what they need.
I think it's funny though too when he's talking about Ben Brown here.
Ben
Ben Alzolay is his name. Well, I mean, maybe Alzolay was he came up as a starter, and then he actually, when he went to the bullpen, was really good.
For
how
a
it
year.
ended here was not the greatest, but
yeah.
Anyways, Nick, I still want to hear what you think about some of that though too.
Yeah, well, what I was going to say is, I mean, I just hope that, we touched on Shaw a little bit. I hope that Shaw continues to do, really well. So that's not even a question at the deadline to try to fill in that hole at third base where they can just put all their assets, all their focus into pitching. Because I really think that that's the best avenue is to, like you said, Joey, get a starter and get two, relievers. I agree with that 100%. And a workhorse. You're right. We need a workhorse. We need a guy that's going to eat innings, especially if we are going to go into October. I don't like to think about it either, but with Boyd hitting those innings and the burnout definitely looming, you want a guy that you can rely on. And hopefully when Shota comes back, he's still the same Shota. Like we said, obliques are really tricky, and fingers crossed that he still looks good.
Yeah, if it's one thing that we've learned this entire time with, say, an oblique can sneak back up on you quickly.
It's not ideal that the ace and your closer right now are both out with oblique injury.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, the reporting on Porter Hodge was good. I think earlier today or yesterday it said it's like a minimal IL stint and just like a precautionary thing. So hopefully he's back like within the next couple of weeks. But yeah, it's not fun seeing all these oblique injuries pop up.
Oblique, yeah, no.
That is one thing though that we do need to talk about is Porter Hodge, because I think we all thought when that news broke was like, oh crap.
That was a gut punch. That 1-2 punch of that loss, and then like immediately after Daniel Palencia, your new closer, blows a save. It blows his first save opportunity of the year. You're like, oh, he actually is the closer because Porter Hodge is going on the IL. I was like, I was kind of devastated. I was like, Jesus Christ, we are screwed.
I was too.
My God.
Yeah,
that was mental health day.
It was a double whammy.
No.
It was a double whammy.
It was definitely a double whammy. No, it was total gut punch. I was like, and like I said on Tuesday, they needed that game on Tuesday because it's really easy. I don't know. I mean, I know, Joe, you've been on the team, but you can fall into that trap when something really bad happens the day before where you just get down that rabbit hole of losses. So they really needed that Tuesday to bounce back, especially after that awful news. But Porter Hodge was the guy, so it sucks. I was really excited too for Hodge to get the runway there to just be the closer, just show us what you got, because his stuff, his slider, just it plays so well as closer role. So it sucks, but I'm happy to hear it's very mild. So I guess that's the silver lining.
Yeah, that's the silver lining, definitely. Hopefully he can get back here quickly because we're still going to need him moving forward this year. It's not like, even if he's not in the closer role, let's say somebody steps up and becomes that guy, or they, like we want them to make a deadline deal move and maybe that guy is the closer or whatever the case may be, you're still going to need Porter Hodge at some point. But I will say, when Council went to Palencia there on Monday, I was happy I mean, I know that there's mixed feelings out there about Palencia, and I don't quite think, like I said this after Monday's game, is like, hey, and not the only person that is thinking this or anything, but like something is different about those last 3 outs of a game, and maybe he's just not quite ready for it yet. But I will say he absolutely earned that opportunity just by how he's pitched this season leading up to that point, because the guy has been pretty much nails. I mean, you set him out there and he's setting them down, and he's throwing 101, 102 with a nasty breaking ball to boot. So like, if there's a guy that does have that closer stuff, if he can locate and not, he does seem to have that. And even in that game on Monday, he had them down to their final strike.
Yeah.
I mean, down to their final strike, and then he leaks one over the middle to Hill, and then the rails came off after that point, which was really sad to see. But I will say too, I really love the fact that Craig trusted him enough in that last game to give him another opportunity and say, hey, shake this one off, young buck.
Yeah.
You've been good. You got the stuff. Go back out there and do it. And he didn't fuck around in that last game. So I was really happy to see just those are the little things that can really turn into big things, I think, for players. And I love to see that.
I think the key with Palencia is he needs to keep the ball in the strike zone. He just needs to throw that fastball in the strike zone, because what happened to him on Monday is like, all right, he got to that point where he like basically had the save. He was one pitch away from the save. And then after that, it was like after he got past the 25 pitch mark, and Counsell kind of said this a little bit after the after the game during his press conference. He said he just looked gassed after that. He just ran out of gas. He needs to attack the zone early and often to get those outs quickly, I think. I guess you could kind of say that with any reliever, right? They could get gassed after 25 pitches. But with him, when he's pumping 101 and 102 on
probably
every single
easier.
pitch, it's probably easier for him to get gassed.
Yeah.
So that is like the worrying part for me. But when he is doing that, because that was his problem in the past, right? He would walk a lot of guys and work around the zone too much and wouldn't throw strikes. But now this year he's throwing strikes, and it's paying off a lot. And I think it has to do with a lot of maybe Tyler Zombro too. They like tweaked something with his stuff, or because I don't know, his fastball looks different. It has more movement on it than it ever did before. So I don't know. Those are my thoughts on Palencia. He just needs to keep the ball in the strike zone.
Yeah, for sure. He's very much. I've said this in the past, but I feel like he is who Jeremiah Estrada to me could have been if they kept him and then turned into with the Padres. I truly believe that Palencia is like the same mold of a reliever here. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we had right now we need a guy like that. And it's awesome to see. There was some graphic on Twitter of like people who have thrown the most 100+ mile an hour fastballs, and Daniel Palencia was on there. I was like, man, when was the last time we had a relief pitcher that just routinely pumped gas in the strike zone? Like, I think it was Aroldis Chapman. Like, it's been like 10 years.
You can't say it was Nate Pearson.
Yeah, he doesn't throw strikes really.
No, that's for sure.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody else off the top of my head.
No, man. I want to get to some of these comments here, though, that we've been kind of neglecting here for a minute, but and then we'll kind of talk about some other things. But Daniel Barry, happy Thursday. Hey, everyone. What's up, Daniel? And then Stole It Breezing had some comments here, too. Make a move with the Halos. Deal for Tyler Anderson and Kenley Jansen. I mean, that's not terrible. Tyler Anderson has not been too bad this year.
Kenley Jansen's
going to blow up in her face like Craig
the last time, too, Tyler Anderson, I think he walked his last time out, walked like 6 guys and didn't strike out anyone. So,
actually, Jansen has been good. His ERA is a little inflated because he had like a 6-run blow up, but he's got a lot of scoreless inning or scoreless.
I just feel like if he comes to the Cubs, it's not going to work out for some reason.
Yeah, for sure. Stolitz also says Palencia in that second chance wasn't getting beat with his sliders, all heaters, one slider during that inning, needs to locate better if he's only going to throw one pitch. I agree, although I do really like the slider when it's on too.
Yeah.
He also said, I wanted Keller to step in for Hodge. Older experience, has better command, but Council likes his bridge guys. Well, yeah, that's the thing. You don't really know. I believe that you put your high leverage relievers at this stage of baseball, like the era that we're in, unless it's just that you've got your select guys who are just like lockdown closers. But with the Cubs not having a legit closer right now, you put maybe your most trusted reliever against the highest leverage spot, no matter where it comes in the game, or best part of the lineup, maybe in the 8th inning or 7th inning. So like, I'm cool with that. Like, I'm cool with them using Keller in that role too, because he can, if he needed, he could go 2 innings.
Yeah, I don't mind seeing Brad Keller out there in high leverage spot either.
He's been kind of like the bullpen Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
They used him as the opener against the Mets for Cade Horton. Can go 2 innings. He's been like an awesome surprise this year. Nice diamond in the rough find for Jed Hoyer there.
Yep.
No doubt. Before we get to something that you had brought up off air, Rich, topic that you want to talk about, we didn't really get into Matt Shaw yet. That boy came up and came back with a vengeance. Looks like
he's swinging, baby. I like it. 5 hits, 5 for 11 in his in the 3 games back. That's that'll play. A couple stolen bases too. Walk. He looked good. He looked really good at the plate. The ball was sailing off of his bat. If he can be just anything close to league average with the bat, with his WRC plus, that will totally work. And make the routine plays at third base, that's fine. Anything more than that is kind of gravy because, like we were saying earlier, everybody else is kind of cooking in the lineup. Like when one guy is not, somebody else steps up. So I don't know if Matt Shaw is just league average, makes those routine plays. I think we're okay because to your point earlier, Nick, we don't want to have to trade for a third baseman because there's nobody available except for like Nolan Arenado and Ryan McMahon. Don't want to send like Owen Casey to the Cardinals so he can smack home runs against us for like 10 years. And Ryan McMahon is kind of bad. So
yeah,
good point.
Not good enough to be paying him $16 million a year for 2 years. So
I also think that, like, back to a previous comment, I might have been from Scott. I don't think there's any bat addition needed, especially Matt Shaw could be that bat addition, but like,
yeah,
you just need arms, man. You just need arms.
You just need arms.
I agree.
So yeah, but Nick, what were you thinking sitting there watching Matt Shaw and the new like modified kind of shortened up leg
just
kick
a
there?
breath of fresh air, man. Breath of fresh air. You know, obviously we're following him in Iowa when he went back down. I knew he was going to come up and look better than what he was. I really had a good feeling about it, but he just has a lot more discipline with the strike zone too. He looks a lot less jumpy in the box. And I know that they've adjusted his approach a little bit with the big leg kick. It's a little bit more subtle. We were talking about it off the air a little bit. So that's good to see. And he's got such quick hands that I was glad that they got rid of that because I really think it quiets things down for him where he can turn and get in on the ball a little bit quicker rather than focusing on that timing of that big leg kick. You know, major league pitching is very different than minor league pitching. We all know this. So it's just an adjustment. And I think it was good on the Cubs to bring him up so early or let him go out there and have his struggles and then send him down early so he can work on them and get him right back up. So it's really good to see because once again, I really didn't want them to have to like fill a hole at third base. And it was looking like that was going to be the case because Birdie's not going to cut it. Vidal Brujan started to look like maybe he can be serviceable, but no, he's not going to cut it.
Bat.
It's just
he doesn't have the bat.
It's yucky.
You know, if he could just get on base every time and steal all the way around.
It's just
it's a little yucky. Well, third base in general was yucky.
I know the whole thing.
So it's good to see Shaw come up and just be serviceable and look good. And he was more than serviceable during this series. So if we get more of that, that'll be great. Like you said earlier in the show, Joey, this lineup, when it produces all the way straight through, it's so cool to see. The bottom of the lineup sometimes picks up the top of the lineup. Sometimes your stars like Kyle Tucker are struggling. There's other guys that will just pick them right back up, so it's not as big of a deal. So it's just so good to see, and breath of fresh air. That's all I can say about Shaw.
Yeah, it really is though. Like, you didn't need much from third base. Like, I agree with this comment because I remember you guys were doing a show not long ago and I had said something, it might have been like in the comments or something. Like, you just need somebody who's going to be serviceable. Like, have the threat of some power every once in a while and play solid defense. And, hit, like you said, Rich, close to that WRC plus, close to 100, be close to average. I think he's already up to like 89 or 90 or something where he started the season before he got sent down, way below that. So he's already putting himself in a good spot to, like, this is exactly what the Cubs needed out of him. And for him to be going the opposite field and going right back up the middle, like, his timing, to your point, is so much better. The balance is so much better. And really, it's the confidence thing, right? Imagine if he comes in that first game, he doesn't hit that double to right field and he goes 0 in the first game. Could be a completely different tune that we're talking about now. Maybe he doesn't have the best series overall. Well, obviously, because he doesn't have those hits in that game, but maybe he doesn't get any hits the rest of the series, or it's only one hit the rest of the series because his confidence is still shot. So, like, I thought having the quick success too, along with making the adjustments that he made in the minors and coming back, having that quick success, I think, goes just a long way for someone like Shaw too. So awesome. And he even mentioned it, I think, in one of his post-game interviews about, confidence and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, like, yeah, I don't think our thought process is too far off with that, because we know young guys, they just need a little, sometimes you got to see the ball go through the hoop. You know what I mean? It's like any hot shooter, you see the ball go through the hoop a couple times, boom, you're going to go on a streak, hit like 6 threes in a row or something. But yeah, man, I think there's so many, we didn't even talk about Ian Happ's return. Like, quick, like, that was just nice to see him come back. Mo Baller got a little bit of a taste, and, we know he didn't have the most success, but I think it was another just really nice thing to be able to get him a little bit of opportunity. And, he contributed a little bit in certain moments.
Yep.
So that's cool to have Happ back, of course. And then Kyle Tucker really seemingly like he's busted out of whatever that funk was. Because that now we might just see Kyle Tucker go on one of those heaters that we know that he can go on, and I'm hoping for it, man. I'm
very eager to see him take some at bats at the Great American Ballpark.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that should be a feasting zone for Kyle Tucker. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's a park that I don't think the Reds want any part of Kyle Tucker right now. So yeah, guys, any kind of like final thoughts on the Marlins series before we go ahead and look forward to the Reds coming up tomorrow?
I mean, it should have been a sweep, but you got to be happy with it still. I really liked them bouncing back, like we were talking about earlier, because that is one of those moments. That loss on Monday could have been one of those things where it just like derails you for a couple weeks or something, and you're just like in a funk as a team. But we've seen a few of those moments this year, and the Cubs have been able to bounce back from those. And then, they did it in an awesome way on Tuesday, just a 14-run barrage, exacted revenge on them, as I said in my headline for the game recap. Just nice to see the bounce back. This team has grit, and they've continued to prove that over and over. And now we're sitting at 10 games above 500, heading to a division rival in the Reds. And you still got some easy games coming up against the Rockies and the Nationals. I'm feeling pretty good about the team right now. Things are looking good.
Yeah, definitely. Nick, thoughts on this series?
Yeah, man, not too much to add there. I also think, should have been a sweep, obviously, for sure. But you can't be upset with a series W. So we'll take it. Move on to Cincy. Hopefully it's a launching pad. The weather's just plays to the offense's ability there. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to more crooked numbers up on the board.
And we know we can definitely get some crooked numbers in Cincy. And one guy who loves Cincinnati, it's Cincinnati or Ian Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, it's Ian Happ. He loves that, and he loves he loves Pittsburgh too. We know that. So maybe he does get his swing back. Stole it. I would love that. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm looking forward to more offense, obviously, here coming up. Love the way that the series, it's just series win after series win. That's what I want to see from this team. I don't care who they're playing. Like, I don't need sweeps. I just need series wins. And if you do that, they're going to be in a great spot here towards the end of the season. But yeah, I guess we can go ahead and look forward to that. There's a couple topics we want to touch on before we wrap this whole thing up. But this weekend, starting tomorrow, got a 5:40 start time. Hunter Green returning. Excuse me. That's bad. That's bad podcasting. Don't cough while you're on this. Hunter Green returning off the IL to face Matthew Boyd, who we've talked about being just so legit for this Cubs team. Hunter Green is one of the best pitchers in the game. So Cincy getting him back is huge. Saturday, we've got Colin Ray versus Andrew Abbott, who a 1.8 ERA for Andrew Abbott. He's been just dynamite for them. And Colin Ray, we know how big he's been for the Cubs. So two really good pitching matchups to start the series. Wonder how long the leash will be for Hunter Green just returning off the IL. But then Sunday, a little bit scary, 12:40 start time, and it's Ben Brown, who's been very inconsistent, against Nick Lodolo, who is another really good left-handed pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds. And the Reds, they are running out there basically their best three starters in this series, while the Cubs have two guys who weren't supposed to be their two best starters, who have been their two best starters due to injuries and things. And then they've got a guy who is, basically their worst starter right now. So walk me through it, guys. Are we looking at, can the Cubs steal 2 out of 3, get a sweep over this Reds team, or is it an uphill battle here facing this gauntlet of starting pitching they're going to see?
I think it all depends on how good Hunter Green is coming off the IL. The second game, you should be able to get to him. The Cubs have seen Abbott a lot. The third game, I think the Cubs are just straight up going to lose. I think Ellie De La Cruz is going to just smack like 2 home runs off Ben Brown.
Well,
I don't like Ben Brown pitching in that park at all. That's so scary to me right now. But I don't know. The Reds are scuffling. They lost 2 out of 3 against the White Sox last week, and are coming off of a 2 out of 3 loss against the Pirates. They haven't been great. They're a game below 500 right now. So, and their offense isn't really scoring a lot of runs. So maybe that could be the key for the Cubs, just having our 2 aces on the mound, Matthew Boyd and Colin Ray.
God, who would have thought?
That's so weird to hear that.
Who would have thought, though, coming into the year that's what we're talking about?
I certainly did not. I talked a lot of shit about Matthew Boyd and Colin Ray.
I did too. I didn't really talk too bad about Ray because I thought, well, whatever.
He was like a depth piece, like a long reliever type guy. But Matthew Boyd being the only answer in the rotation peed me off a little bit when Max Fried and Corbin Burns were on the market.
Gotta say though, those have been 2 absolutely spot on acquisitions by Hoyer in this front office. Like,
they have been.
We don't need to go too far into detail with it, but you're right though, Rich. This offense for the Reds leaves a little bit to be desired outside of, Ellie De La Cruz and a couple others. I mean, you're not facing too much, but when you're pitching in that ballpark, we know how that can quickly become, you can have your performance. You can have an Aristides Aquino, the philosopher, like hitting home runs left and right. Like, anyways, that's a shout out from past shows where I was calling him a philosopher with like Socrates and
What happened to that guy? Is that guy even playing
Aristotle.
baseball anymore?
I have no idea. Is he like in
I don't know.
KBO or something? Yeah.
He
I was
seems like
gonna
a
say he
guy
might be
who's
overseas.
not playing in the United States anymore.
I have no idea. But yeah,
He's
that's
with,
actually good. That's a good research that we should
with
do.
Addison Russell down in Mexico. I was looking him up the other day. He's been bouncing back and forth between Korea and Mexico for the last 5 years.
Russell has.
Addison Russell.
Oh, yeah, he's kind of got and he should. He's basically got the Trevor Bauer treatment.
Blacklist, yeah, he's been
at this point.
blacklisted a little bit, yeah.
Sorry to bring up Addison Russell, guys.
Yeah, I don't. That's okay. That's all right. He's still a part of the history, so we gotta.
It is.
It's a very real thing. So, but yeah, Nick.
Yep.
I know you don't like the Sunday matchup, like me and Rich.
Yeah,
don't, but
Sunday matchups.
the other two.
I think that's a loss. I'm a little scared, to be honest with you, because I think the Reds are going to be a lot hungrier than we think, just knowing that what's at stake here for them. They have a lot more to lose than the Cubs for this series. So I don't know. I just have a bad taste when we go play the Reds, no matter where they are in the standings, no matter how crappy of a team they are. They just are such a pesky team to play. So Hunter Green, he's a premier pitcher. We got him coming off of the IL, so that's kind of the silver lining there. But I still feel like he's going to go out there and just shove. Hopefully his leash is long enough. We can kind of work him. I think that they should be taking a lot of pitches. We know that they can have those great long at-bats, and there's a lot of guys like Ian Happ, Nico Horner that can work those long at-bats and grind down pitchers. I think that's going to be key against Hunter Green for sure. But yeah, hopefully this offense can just, get to him somehow. And then Saturday, it's just going to be a toss-up, honestly, I think on Saturday, because I really do feel like this Reds team knows what's at stake here. And while their offense hasn't been good, it's only a matter of time. They're an MLB team. So I just hope the Cubs can bring their A game, all around good baseball from offense to pitching to relief. And they can do this. I'm going to be interested too to see if there's some close games, how Craig is managing the bullpen. Like what's he doing? Where's he going with it? So that's going to be really interesting to see as well. But hopefully there's no close games. Hopefully the Cubs are just blowing him out and he doesn't have to make those hard decisions, because that's when managing becomes really easy. When you're just like, well, I'll just put Chris Flexen in for 3 innings. No big deal.
It's beautiful on Tuesday, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was wonderful. And to Chris Flexen, like nothing against Chris Flexen. He's been great. I'm just saying it makes it real easy when you can put like a long reliever out there and just call it a day. So I don't know. I'm a little scared with this series, but I shouldn't be, because this Cubs team is really legit. I really do believe that. It's just the Reds, man. The Reds. Yeah.
You know who terrifies the absolute piss out of me? It's not even Ellie De La Cruz. It's Connor Joe.
Yeah.
That guy has had more home runs versus, I just looked it up, more homers, twice as many homers in his career against the Cubs than any other team. 8 compared to the next closest is 4. And he spent a lot of time with the Rockies too. And
the Pirates, right?
And the Pirates as well.
Yeah.
But 350 average, 437 on base, 633 slug with 8 homers and 21 RBIs in
I didn't even realize he was that much of a Cubs killer. That's crazy.
Sorry, 36 games against the Cubs. So yeah, he has played more games against the Cubs than like the Giants and stuff like that due to his time with the Pirates and now with the Reds, I'm sure. But like he is a Cubs killer, and that guy, like right-handed versus a Matthew Boyd. I could just see like some things not working out too well against him too. So for whatever reason, it's like a Tommy Edman situation. I feel like waiting to happen. Please don't be right about that.
Or any Eugenio Suarez.
Yeah.
Eugene.
Nightmare fuel.
Hey, Eugenio. Yeah.
Dude, he
That
was
is
with the Reds. He used to kill us.
That was a
Yeah,
good
dude.
point, though. Like this should be a battle because, to your point, Nick, if the Reds get swept, they'll be 8.5 games back. So they're
Exactly.
gonna be fighting. This is not gonna be an easy series to win. But
Yeah.
the Cubs have been humming lately, so it should be a nice, fun series to watch.
Should be fun.
Absolutely.
Scott's talking a lot of shit about Ellie De La Cruz in the comments right now.
I'm not even. I'm kind of ignoring all of what he's saying because
All the LED
he's talking about stuff that has no. I don't even know what this means. Rockford is scarier than anywhere that has like. I don't know what this means, Scott. You need to leave Iowa once in a while and go explore the world. Anyways, so
Amazing.
let's go back here. I thought there was a really fun question here. I want to bounce this off you guys. Stole it Breezing asked a while back. Fun question. Most underappreciated Cub, past and present. I have my answer for past.
I don't have present.
I don't have the present right now, but I'll give two answers here, just to give you guys some time to kind of think about this. My Cub past most underappreciated Cub, which I don't think this is real. This is not the actual answer. I would need more time to actually dive into what my thought would be. But one of my favorite Cubs of all time was Mark DeRosa. When he played with the Cubs, he played just like a Ben Zobrist, second base, third base, outfield, first base. He played any position you asked him to, and in every position that he played, he hit. So I think he was a very underappreciated Cub. And then presently, man, it is really hard to say because my first thought is Miguel Amaya from the work that he's doing both behind the plate with the pitching staff, but Carson Kelly could easily be in there too. But I think he's pretty appreciated at this point. But Amaya's also been hitting clutch moments. I'll throw out one that is like now becoming appreciated. Drew Pomeranz has been absolutely dynamite from the left side and a big surprise, I feel like, to me, out of the bullpen. When they got him, I'm like, what the hell is he going to do?
0 ERA in 10.1 innings pitched, 11 strikeouts. The man's 36 years old, hasn't pitched an MLB in 4 years.
Yeah, that's wild.
Craig Counsell said, yeah, but he's one of my guys.
For real. They plucked him like they plucked, they made some of these random moves that like Jorge Lopez and
that was a fun one last year.
Lopez was good, man. Yeah.
I liked watching him. It was fun.
This year for this team, nobody's gonna like this, but I think Justin Turner, Loki.
Oh boy,
pretty underappreciated. And most of it is his off the field value.
Yeah.
I mean, he is just by like all these videos that you see, he is one of those clubhouse guys. And from the stuff that I've heard from reporters, he is like a guy who gels the clubhouse together.
Yeah.
He's good with the media. He's good with young players. Obviously, he has this like really fun relationship with Pete Crow Armstrong. He has like 10 years of postseason experience, 15 years of just MLB experience. He's a wealth of knowledge, a guy who keeps things light. Like that, you need a guy like that on the team. And I think that $6 million is being spent well, honestly, when you have one of those dudes, regardless if he's hitting or not. I mean, he actually isn't doing as bad at the plate as people think he is. But
he's starting to hit a little.
He's starting to hit, and he needed that walk-off win to bring some people around, right? But yeah, I'm gonna go with Justin Turner on this current team.
I like that pick.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that one.
Who would be your pass guy then, Rich?
Man, there's a lot.
If you don't have one yet, we can we could skip you too.
I have one in mind, but it's, I don't even know if people are gonna. Brian Dunsing was pretty good for a year.
The lefty, yeah.
Yeah.
Brian Dunsing.
That's kind of a pull, but yeah, he was only there for a year. I don't know. I always like Steve Cishek too. He was
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
a awesome bullpen arm, but Joe Madden like tore his arm off by making him go like 80 innings back to back season.
He just like he
did.
relied on him like it was a 1992 beater getting you
I
through the
mean,
winter.
He was
Yep.
awesome in a Cubs uniform though. Like he had, I think it was
Great.
like back-to-back years of like 2.5 or ERA or below or something like that. He was nails.
Awesome. He was awesome.
Comments are saying Aramis Ramirez. I feel like Aramis Ramirez is a pretty I feel like people understand how valuable he was.
He's pretty appreciated, and he should be. But I mean,
Yeah.
maybe not in the same lens of like of some of the other big names.
Yeah,
from,
the bigger names. Yeah,
but like he's
pretty
so
well
maybe
known.
from that sense underappreciated. But I think he's people do appreciate him. For sure.
He was a tank.
Yeah, he was a beast.
And he hit tanks. He was awesome.
He was a 2-out RBI machine, I feel like. Nick, who you got?
Yeah, so my past is, I guess you could say he is appreciated, but he's not appreciated enough. Okay, he's not appreciated enough. But it's Carlos Zambrano. I loved Big Z. I just think, build him a statue, man. I loved him. Like I loved him growing up. He was so freaking great. He brought that fire, dude, that this Cubs team, hasn't really had for quite some time. Maybe it's just the front office making that decision where they're like, do we want this type of player? And but dude, he was so fun to watch. So fun.
We're gonna build a statue outside of your house though, because I'm not sure what he did during his time.
Yeah,
actually deserves a statue.
No,
Love
no,
Big
I'm
Z to
not
death.
saying he No, you come build one outside. Yeah, do it.
me and Rich are gonna call some contracting crew and get them over there.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's built out of wood, and we like a stump, we have them come just carve out Zambrano in my front lawn. Fine, I loved Big Z. So,
and then just have like a dead Gatorade bottle right next to
it.
Oh
exactly.
God, him whipping the bat, then breaking the bats over his
Dude,
knee.
he did so many. He was the first one to like chuck the ball over the center field into the center field bleachers.
Guy had a short temper. Okay,
He was insane.
He
loved every second.
He loved the game. All right, he was very passionate.
Awesome. Yeah, he was so cool.
I love the switch hitting home runs too.
That's the other thing that really plays into my decision is like when he came up to bat, dude, he was so fun. Like just a fun Cub. And there's so many of them, but that's my past one. Present, just, and you said it already, Joey, but just because it's just such a shock and I just didn't expect it. And I don't think many people understand like how much he was carrying us in the beginning of the year, but Carson Kelly. He's just so unexpected, the power there. And isn't he, I saw in the comments, and I thought this was correct. He is tied with Ellie De La Cruz for home runs, right? 12.
I'm assuming that's probably
so.
Yeah, 8.
Oh, 8. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody was using that as a point that Ellie De La Cruz is bad.
Don't listen to Scott. He's never left Iowa.
But no, I mean,
Scott's never left Iowa.
It's unbelievable that Carson Kelly's just been that this year. He's cooled off a little bit, but he hasn't been up as much. So, yeah, that's mine. And you could say Amaya too. Both the catcher in general this year just
been so good.
Not expected.
They have the
compared
best
to last year. It's great.
Yeah.
They either have the best or the second. I think comparing like just the two of them, what they do compared to any other you can combine someone's really good stats with somebody's okay stats as a backup catcher, but the two of them, what they're individually doing, the Cubs have gotten the best tandem play, I think, out of any team in the majors this year. And what an insane thing that is to think when we came into the season. And yes, Miguel Amaya was my breakout guy again, doubled down from last year being wrong.
Yeah.
But even I didn't expect that to be the case. Like we had question marks, we had the catcher spot as a major question mark coming to the year. So cool to see the 7, 8, 9 spots in this order.
Got some numbers for you.
Yeah.
So the only team that has a better WRC plus out of the catcher spot is Seattle. But I think you can put basically all of that on the back of Cal Raleigh.
Yeah, Cal Raleigh.
I think they also have, is it Mitch Garver? He's been okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't even know who their other catcher is, but Mitch Garver sounds correct.
I think it is Garver.
Who has 636 OPS with 1 home run, 7 RBIs this year. So he is clearly the backup to Cal Raleigh.
It's Cal Raleigh doing it all.
Yeah. So I would be comfortable saying they have the best offensive catching duo in baseball.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. No, that's a great call, Nick. Love that pick. Carson Kelly. The other thing here, this is something that you wanted to talk about before here, Rich, and basically I think it's just to address all the crap. And if I can find it here in the comments, I was going to pull up Scott's comment about Paul Skeens. There we go. He says, sell them the entire farm for Paul Skeens and David Bednar, who Bednar started out struggling, and then I think he even went to AAA for a little bit, came back, and then started doing good again. But how realistic? I mean, I just will tell you guys flat out right now, I don't think that there's a shot in hell that they're going to get Paul Skeens in a trade, at least this year. Maybe at some point the Pirates will end up pulling that trigger. Will it be to the Cubs? I kind of doubt that as well. But all right, the Paul Skeens like rumors / trade ideas that people are tossing out there left and right. Like, what are your guys' thoughts on that? We got to talk about it.
So I have a lot of thoughts on this. First of all, I would sell the farm for Paul Skeens, right? I would. Second of all, this is all stemming from Jeff Passan's comments that teams will be asking the Pirates about Paul Skeens, which every team should who's in contention, right? Like he didn't say that the Pirates are going to trade Paul Skeens this year, but that's how all this nonsense started, right? And I just think it's hilarious seeing all the trade ideas where it was like the one on MLB Trade Rumors, I think it was, or maybe Bleacher Report or something, was like Matt Shaw, Owen Casey, and Cade Horton for Paul Skeens. That is not enough. No opinion. 3 players we're talking about 5 full seasons of team control for Paul Skeens. He still has 2 pre-arbitration years on his contract. This is like an uber ace, a guy who is straight up a workhorse, an ace, a guy who is going to be a perennial Cy Young contender. And people are like, yeah, 3 players for him. It's like, no, this is going to be like a Juan Soto type of trade. Even more so, maybe, because of the team control.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was just kind of like just laughing at that trade proposal on Twitter. And then all the comments being like, nah, that's too much to give up for Skeens. I'm like, what are you talking about? You're talking about 5 years of an ace.
Yeah.
Like, arguably the best pitcher in baseball. Like that was the part that I just needed to get off my chest. Like that is so silly in my mind. Like you would have to give up at least 5 players from your farm to trade for Paul Skeens like today. So
is that like Triantos and Alcantara with him?
Mine was like I would honestly, this was like the honest trade proposal that I would, if I was Jed Hoyer, this is who I would offer. I would do Cade Horton, Owen Casey, Triantos, Jackson Wiggins, and a throw-in. And if that doesn't get the deal done, that's it. I don't know. We'll negotiate.
I actually think that that's worse than what you said before, to be honest.
That's a worse trade proposal?
I do. I think it's worse.
Because PCA is not in there?
Because what was the trade you said?
The other one had Matt
Horton,
Shaw.
Casey?
So instead of Matt Shaw, you're throwing in Jackson Wiggins, who is our arguably our second best pitching prospect. So you're getting our two best pitching prospects.
Yeah, I mean,
our
Still
best
not
hitting
enough.
prospect.
I think they would really
Another
want a
two
hitting
of our best hitting
prospect.
prospects in Triantos and Owen Casey, and then whoever else you want on the top 30 list. So you're getting 5 good prospects out of that, and then basically whatever else you want. I don't know. You negotiate from there.
I think you need more,
I do
especially
too.
with the team control.
Starting low, Nick. You got to negotiate.
We got to negotiate. But I don't know, man. I feel like the Pirates definitely would want, for sure, 3 really good hitting prospects to kind of reboot that lineup a little bit, because I think they're doing a decent job with pitching prospects. Like Bubba Chandler's coming along. Like Bubba Chandler, I think Bubba Chandler is going to be legit. Jared Jones, whenever he's back, inevitably, like they got a few guys pitching wise where maybe they wouldn't need like 2 pitching prospect big guys, but like maybe one, like a Cade Horton for like the 3 bats, like so I don't know. I have no idea, dude, because where it's not happening. Like,
It's not happening.
Joey hates this, by the way.
Yeah.
I hate all of it, because I do. I hate all. I would love Paul Skeens, but I hate the conversation because I know it's not happening.
It's a fun thought experiment, Joey. Just let it play out.
I just don't have the imagination tonight. I don't know what to tell you. I love the conversation. Let me rephrase that. It's just like, man,
it is imagination world.
It's La La Land.
It's fantasy land. It's fantasy world. I don't think they're gonna trade him at all this year at all.
Yeah. Do you think they'll trade him at all in the future?
In the future, I do. I think he's going to become too expensive for Pittsburgh, and they'd be like, "Oh, well, we gotta cut ties now because we're going to get nothing for him if we continue to wait."
Well, it's Garrett Cole, it's Charlie Borton, it's like their history. Yep. They just show that they do it.
Maybe they change it. I mean, I saw a video where like the line was wrapped around the stadium just for his bobblehead night. Maybe they're like, we have to figure.
Wasn't there a stat out there, an attendance stat, and I haven't actually like looked at it, but like they way oversell, like they sell a ton of tickets for the starts that he has, but every other game is like under 10,000 or some shit for attendance.
And they are consistently losing those games. I think they're like 3-7 or something in his starts this year, something like that.
I could also see ownership being like, we're not selling tickets. We sell this guy and we're going to throw ourselves, like, we need to make money or like get close to a break even, unlike Tom Ricketts, like an actual break even for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And like, we need to keep Paul Skeens for that reason alone.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's what I'm more on that side of things, Joey. I think that they just are going to keep him because they know that the revenue is there with him. To lose him, it's a huge.
They have so many years of team control. It's just going to be their cash cow for like 4 or 5 years, and then he's just going to hate baseball this whole time. Because they're not going to put any talent around him.
Yeah, when does he become disgruntled? And like,
how can he really be disgruntled, dude? He's got Livy Dunn.
I mean, that's true. And you're playing
he's
a kid's
such a
game
competitor, though, dude.
I know.
He wants to win.
I'm halfway joking,
got that fire in his heart.
But I'm also just
fun
trying
hashtag fun hater.
He's just trying to have some fun right there with that comment.
Whatever, Scott. Just chill out.
Yeah, if you have Livy Dunn, you can't be upset. I agree with that.
Right. Like, your life isn't that bad.
You can go 8 innings pitch, give up 1 run, and then lose the game, and just go home to Livy Dunn. You're okay.
I think you're good, man. You're good. And everyone's going to consider you like Cy Young no matter what anyways. So, or close to it, even though they're losing these games. But, guys, I don't know if you guys want to, we're kind of done with the trade ideas, but
we're done with your favorite segment.
Yeah, sorry to poo-poo it. I really don't hate it. I just
so quick.
I'm just a fun hater, apparently. But I would like to talk about the report, or unconfirmed report, anyways, from Bruce Levine today that came out that said that the Cubs are going to get the All-Star game. I'm not sure exactly how he phrased it, but the Cubs looking like they're going to get the All-Star game back at Wrigley in 2027, and then come to find out that that's what all the security measures that they have, according to the ordinance or potential ordinance here, proposed ordinance for the security bollards to prevent vehicles from basically going into those sections where fans are walking around throughout Wrigleyville. That project would cost $30 million. The Cubs would fork over $8 million of that. The rest sounds like would go to the city and the state, according to the proposed ordinance. But it sounds like these are just things that are not fully confirmed on both ends of the spectrum. But if that's the case that the Cubs do, it does make sense. I feel like too close. Like you wouldn't get that one announcement and then the other announcement back to back, both being confirmed so close together. Like these are obviously things though that the Cubs, it sounds like everyone's trying to work on. But yeah, guys, thoughts on those reports and those rumors? And I mean, it would be pretty damn cool if the Cubs got an All-Star game back at Wrigley, in the first one for quite some time.
Yeah, I mean, so from what I take away from this is like these things are basically across the finish line, just not officially, right? Like the ordinance is proposed in the city council, but the way it was reported on and the way the dialogue that I was seeing about this, it just makes me feel like that this has been negotiated for such a long time that like it's essentially a done deal. It's been introduced in the Chicago City Council and it will be approved because it's been, both parties have agreed to the terms basically. So that is going to go through, and that basically will expand the sidewalks on Addison Street and also install those like concrete bollards or whatever they're called to like help with crowd control and stop vehicles, like you said. So that's basically just a security feature that Chicago wanted and the Cubs wanted. And that's like the answer instead of closing down the streets, which the city never lets the Cubs do, even though they kind of do that anyway. The cops do it after games anyway. So I think that's what all that is about. And then the reporting afterward from Bruce Levine about the All-Star game also sounds like it's basically a done deal. Like the city usually has 2 years in advance to like plan for the All-Star. So like after that ordinance went through, MLB was like, all right, nice. Like you're good. Like it's just not like official yet, I think, is what's going on. The news is broken that they are probably going to be the city, I think, is what happened. And yeah, good on the Cubs. Like if they get an All-Star game, that'd be great. That'd be great for the city. Bruce Levine said on Twitter they'll get $250 or $300 in revenue. $1 million. He mistweeted that, but yeah, I don't know. Theoretically, that's theoretical revenue. So
use it, Tom.
Yeah, use that for Kyle Tucker's contract right now, please.
It would be really cool though too to like see if this all comes together, and it sounds like it is. It wouldn't be. I don't think Bruce Levine's the type that's going to say this without it being that close. Even though the Cubs are saying, we don't have that yet. Like you said, Rich, it's that close to the finish line, so that's why that's coming out, and people are saying that. But just imagine how cool that's going to be. Like the festivities, the All-Star festivities in the newly rebuilt area, Wrigleyville area, everything that's went into it, and like all that they can do on like the lawn area, and just like the festivities are going to be fun, man. Like that whole week will be something to look forward to for Cubs fans. And I can't imagine what the pricing is going to be to attend these events. I mean,
it's going to be wild.
Yeah. I almost, kind of regretting it already, because I feel like I'm going to have to open my wallet for at least something.
Yeah. One of the things. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I agree 100%. I mean, it's just something that you almost have to like go to, if you're there. It's one of those like I don't want to say once in a lifetime experiences, but it's pretty close. Yeah,
It is pretty close.
it's pretty close.
This is only the third time Wrigley Field will have hosted the All-Star game ever.
Yeah. Yeah, and like with those security measures and that bill going in, I mean, it really, like you said, Rich, it's pretty like it makes sense that would happen, and then they would make the announcement. I think it is pretty close to the finish line, if not already right there. So it's really exciting. But overall, like, I'm just trying to imagine like how it's going to, like you said, like Wrigleyville in general, how that's just going to be. Just even like
it's going to be pandemonium,
just filled on a home run derby night, just waiting for the ball to hit, like, Waveland. It's like, holy crap. Yeah,
that question,
someone's gonna break a window. As long as the wind's, we talked about this off the air. As long as the wind's blowing out.
Oh yeah, so
the wind's blowing in.
For listeners of the podcast version and not watching live or the YouTube version, Scott from Iowa, who's stuck in Iowa and never left Iowa, asks, says, "Oh, sorry, Scott, not sorry for the shade you've been throwing me this whole time. Over under 2.5 or 2.5 windows broke during the home run derby." And Nick, yeah, like you said, man, could be interesting if the wind is blowing in. That I think actually that it would be really fun to see if the wind's blowing out and then maybe there's a rooftop shot or something. But I feel like it would be that much more fun too if the wind was blowing in, to see like how who knows who's in it, like if it's Aaron Judge or like Shohei, if those guys somehow end up, oh god, dude, then just fighting, duking it out and just trying to get to the basket,
just sticking it right in the basket. Oh yeah, that would be exciting. Those basket shots are always so exciting. So in a home run derby, I feel like it'll be all the more exciting just to see one just right there, just to like win it. Oh,
I don't know about you guys. I have like in my head when anyone hits a home run in the basket during a game, I call it like a Jeff Blauser shot. Like, I don't know if you guys remember Jeff Blauser or Jose Hernandez, former Cubs infielders.
Oh, Jose Hernandez
of the past. Like Jeff Blauser did not have any power at all, but like the home runs you would see him hit was like those basket shots.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just okay. Well,
one of my favorite basket shots was, I think it was it the NLDS with Javi Baez against Johnny Cueto?
Oh, where it looked like he nuked
when he hit it to like the moon, and then it just barely goes in the basket right over the Giordano's like board right there. It was just like, holy shit.
I was terrified because I thought for sure, because there was another situation where he thought he got it and then he had to hustle his ass off.
Yeah,
at the second.
Right.
I was terrified that was another situation.
Yeah. When it went in the basket, dude, I was like, holy shit.
It snapped a scoreless game.
Yeah. Johnny Cueto was dealing too. Holy
legend, crap. Man. Legends.
Yeah.
Both ways, him and Javi.
Javi's bouncing center fielder, Javi, to you, Joey.
Yeah, what the heck? He's playing good center field defense, and he's hitting ninth for them. He's kind of struggling the last few games, but bounce back here.
He did not do what I asked him to do in the St. Louis Cardinals series, but I forgive him.
I think he was trying to put on for the Cubs fan base, and he was put too much pressure on himself. That's what I'm going to
go with. Javi swinging it the other batter's box.
This is not a war, Scott. I don't understand what you're saying. We're not in a war.
I can't wait for the next podcast just to see the development of this.
Yeah,
I'm not going to be on that one. Just so you guys just report to me. Let me know what kind of shit Scott is talking.
Joey's going to avoid Scott for the rest of the year.
We do a Friday show. He's going to come for you, Joey.
It's unavoidable, actually. But
yeah, he's gonna plan a battle for the
war.
Right.
Real quick though, before we hop on out of here with like final thoughts and then just wrapping this thing up, as we are over an hour, but it's an off day, so we had quite a bit to talk about, just newsworthy items that popped up here, and then also just recapping the series and previewing the Red series as well. But real quickly, I kind of just lost my train of thought. That was less than ideal. Don't know where I was going with that.
Just blame Scott. Don't worry.
Yeah, Scott, he won the war now. He won the battle.
You're in his head now, Scott.
Come on,
God,
Scott.
oh, this is where I was gonna say. So the dinger picks. Bobby was on a hot heater for a minute, and
Yep.
I was creeping, like it was like a every other day, every couple days type thing, and got up to double digits. I don't know where everyone sits, but I feel like it's a pretty good battle now. Like
It's a good battle for sure.
Who had
A
Tucker?
couple of them are in double digits.
I think Juice had Tucker. Juice has 6 now.
Juice, okay. He came.
Juice and Ron are coming back. Ron, he's gotten
Ron.
4 in the last 2 weeks. I think he's snapped his dry spell, and we almost got 4 guys in double digits. That's pretty good.
That's a heater for Ron Luce.
That's a heater.
4 in 2 weeks.
Oh man, yeah, he was struggling there for a while. He was threatening to outsource his dinger picks to the community if he kept losing.
He needs to outsource them to his fiance.
Yeah,
apparently she's been really good at him. He told me a while back. Just ask her.
Yeah, just outsource them. Delegate.
Delegation.
Yeah. Delegate.
There's no shame in the game. You don't even have to tell us that's from her.
I got one from Suzuki on that just awesome day. What was a Wednesday? 14-1. Yeah, he capped that inning too.
He cracked.
He started it with a leadoff walk, and then.
Does somebody get a prize at the end of the year? What do we get for this? I'm new here.
Yeah. We all put money in. No, we didn't.
Scott buys us tickets.
Scott buys tickets to the All-Star game.
Yeah, there you go. Holy crap, Scott. You get a shell out of. I don't know if he loves us that much, but just for talking shit. But anyways, boys, great show tonight. Great series here against the Marlins to be able to get 2 out of 3. Where in a place where really they've struggled at times in Miami, traveling there. So always nice when you get them when you can. Going to Cincinnati, I think Tyler's going to be at one of those games. He should be at Saturday's game, it sounds like. Thank you, Nick, because I was wondering about that and I wasn't quite sure. But
might be right. I think it's
he gets
Saturday.
to see our ace Colin Ray on the mound that day.
Yeah. Colin Ray's our boy. Wow.
What a treat.
What a treat. And he doesn't have to deal with the philosopher Aristides, but just the cup of Joe, Mr. Connor. So I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. Hopefully the Cubs can pull out another series victory against the Reds. Sounds like we'll have another show scheduled for you guys on Sunday. Don't know who the panel will be at this moment. But yeah, be sure to tune in Sunday after hopefully a Cubs win. Boys, final thoughts before we wrap this thing up.
We need another series win. Don't lose this series against the Reds. Just get another series win. Get out of there. Get the hell out of there. Hit some home runs. Hit a bunch of dingers. Yeah, and then you come back and get the Rockies on Monday, which should be easy. It's going to be a trap series now. I just jinxed it, but
stop. I'll be at that Monday game, by the way. Don't jinx it for me, please.
Memorial Day.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Nick?
Win.
Win. Win.
Oh, yeah, and fuck the
everything
Reds.
else. Win.
Fuck the Reds. Fuck the Brewers. Fuck the Cardinals.
Reds. Fuck the Cardinals.
FTC.
Fuck them all.
Boys.
Oh, and fuck the Mets just because.
Fuck the NL West too.
Yeah.
Because we got to win this division now. There's no other path.
My mom doesn't like all the swearing, guys.
Sorry. FTC, FTM,
Anyways, FT them all. Follow us on X at Cubbies on Tap, CBBIES on Tap.
Facebook as well. If you use Facebook, we got Cubs on Tap Facebook account.
There you go. And the main account at On Tap Sportsnet. And go check out all the content. A lot of great written format articles, breaking news content, some well thought out pieces, ideas for the Cubs and for all the other sports teams in Chicago as well at ontapsportsnet.com. So you can get all that over there and follow along with all the different podcasts that you might want to listen to as well, like the Bulls, like our friends over there on the South Side that we, they're still our friends. They're they're really in a shitty place right now, and we feel bad for them, but only kind of because, yeah, we'll just leave it at that. I'm not gonna engage in this war that you guys picked up this last. I didn't tweet at all the entire series, by the way.
I think that was all Ron, honestly.
Ron
It was all Ron.
went for it.
Yeah, it's okay. I understand it. You got to let those frustrations out. We love Ron for it. But yeah, boys, what do you say? Get on out of here. The only way we know how, here at Cubs on Tap.
FTC.
Go Cubs, go, baby.
Fuck the Cardinals.
Fuck the Cardinals.